Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're part of an event agency or managing a professional association, you already know the massive headache we're tackling today. We're talking about the intense, honestly overwhelming challenge of booking and delivering completely consistent corporate events across different Australian cities. You absolutely know the drill, right? You find this incredible venue in Melbourne, it's a huge hit, but then trying to replicate that exact same success for your delegates in Sydney, Brisbane, or Perth, it just feels like rolling the dice. Well, today we're going to walk through the ultimate booking blueprint to eliminate that stress entirely. Okay, here's our agenda for today. 1. The multi-city challenge. 2. The 9 essential checks. 3. Comparing venue types. And finally, 4. The purpose-built solution. Let's dive right in. Section 1. The multi-city challenge. Why consistency is your biggest hurdle. So why is it literally so hard to deliver the exact same event in Sydney and Perth? It's a genuine pain point for planners. For agencies and associations, your reputation is on the line with every single event, no matter the postcode. A central location in one city might mean something completely different in another. You might have this amazing natural light and top-tier room standards in Sydney, but then end up in a cramped, dark basement room for the Perth leg of your roadshow. It's a nightmare. This unpredictability leads to wildly varying delegate experiences, presenter anxiety over tech setups, and just an incredible amount of stress for you, the organizer, as you try to manage all these remote logistics from miles away. Moving on to Section 2, the 9 essential checks, a blueprint for predictable outcomes. To actually solve this consistency problem, we've got to stop just comparing room hire rates and start using a systematic set of evaluation criteria. This is the blueprint that will help you predict actual event outcomes and drastically reduce your workload. Let's start with logistics and commercials. First up, central CBD positioning. This affects attendance way more than people realize. Being right next to train stations and hotels reduces travel stress for your delegates and definitely improves punctuality. But honestly, the real game changer for agencies and associations is having dedicated national account management. Instead of juggling separate contacts and contracts for every single city, you just have one single contact. One person who coordinates your dates, remembers your setup preferences, and handles quotes across all locations. Imagine the time you'd save just by eliminating all that duplicated back-and-forth communication. Now, when it comes to pricing, there's a really stark contrast you have to watch out for. On one hand, you've got the absolute nightmare scenario, the low headline price. It looks great on paper, right up until the venue tacks on extra hidden fees for AV hire, Wi-Fi bandwidth, technical support, and setup changes. On the other hand, you have the ideal situation, an all-inclusive package with totally transparent pricing. For associations managing super tight budgets and agencies prepping client proposals, having zero hidden charges and crystal clear inclusions is absolutely vital. It is the only way to avoid those awful post-event billing disputes. All right, let's move to our next set of checks, tech and equipment. Because let's face it, a technology failure damages professional credibility instantly. You absolutely need built-in audiovisual equipment, integrated screens, projectors, and rock-solid Wi-Fi that are just ready to go. You also need dedicated on-site technical staff who can troubleshoot on the spot. Think about it. When your presenters can walk into any room in any city and find a familiar, reliable setup, their confidence completely skyrockets. And hey, speaking of tech, we've got to talk about hybrid events. True hybrid conferencing capability requires significantly more than a standard video setup. You really can't just slap a laptop at the front of the room and call it a day. You need professional cameras perfectly positioned to capture both the presenter and the room dynamics. You need high-quality room microphones that actually pick up audience questions and the dedicated bandwidth to stream the whole shebang without lagging. This is what creates a truly equal experience for your remote and in-room delegates. Our final group of checks focuses entirely on the delegate experience. Your spaces need consistent natural light, reliable climate control, and ergonomic seating for all-day comfort. You also need really flexible layouts, whether you're setting up cabaret style for a workshop or theater style for a big keynote. And whatever you do, don't forget spacious breakout areas for networking. Importantly, we have to look at in-house catering. For associations, professional dietary management, flawlessly handling vegan, gluten-free, or complex allergy requirements shows your delegates that you actually care about their well-being. Plus, in-house teams are way more likely to flex with your schedule if a session happens to run overtime. Section 3. Comparing venue types. Where should you book? So let's see how the usual suspects stack up against our new criteria. If we compare purpose-built centers to hotel venues and co-working spaces, you'll notice how hotels and co-working spaces very often fall short. They frequently charge extra for AV, they offer variable or limited technical support, and their hybrid setups, usually basic at best. But honestly, the biggest red flag for multi-city planners is that hotels and co-working spaces usually operate on a per property or per location basis, which means, yep, you are right back to juggling multiple contacts. Purpose-built centers, on the other hand, sweep the board. They've got included AV, professional hybrid setups, and that all-important single national contact. To really understand why this happens, you just have to look at the business model. Hotel conference rooms often serve as secondary revenue streams. Their staff's priorities are inherently split. They've got a busy restaurant to run, a chaotic front desk to manage, and accommodation operations to oversee. Your vital corporate event is really just one piece of their very large, very distracted puzzle. And that is exactly where operational variability creeps in. Section 4. The Purpose-Built Solution. Introducing Karstens. Let's see how this builds directly on that 9-point checklist we just covered. Karstens actually operates purpose-built conference and training venues right across 5 major Australian CBDs: Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. Every single facility they run exists specifically for business events. They offer incredibly consistent, purpose-built room standards with beautiful natural light and ergonomic furniture. They have integrated AV and professional hybrid support rolled right into their packages. And crucially, they provide that single national account manager we talked about to totally streamline all your multi-city bookings. The core value proposition here is just so simple but incredibly powerful. By providing consistent standards and built-in technology, they actively reduce the operational variability that hotel facilities so often introduce. For event agencies and associations running complex national roadshows or training programs, this means you can expect the exact same high-quality environment and professional support whether you're stepping off a plane in Sydney or touching down in Adelaide. And what is the ultimate benefit for you in all this? It means you get to focus on your content and your delegates, not venue coordination. By choosing a purpose-built venue partner with transparent pricing and a dedicated national contact, you are quite literally buying your time back. You stop being a stressed-out venue logistics coordinator, and you go back to being a strategic event planner, ensuring your content really lands and your stakeholders are absolutely thrilled. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a hard look at your current booking strategy. Ask yourself, will your next multi-city event be a gamble or a guaranteed success? By applying these 9 essential checks and looking closely at purpose-built venues, you can finally take all the guesswork out of your national programs. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and here's to flawless, consistent events across every single city.